Hey everyone, we're going to talk about something that pretty much all of us feel, especially when things get tough: stress and anxiety. In this explainer, we're going to break down what these feelings actually are, and way more importantly, what you can do about them. So, here's our game plan. First up, we'll figure out what we're actually talking about when we say we're overwhelmed. Then we'll get into the signs and what causes them. After that, we'll look at the real impact this stuff can have, give you a whole toolkit of healthy ways to cope, and finish up by showing you exactly how to take that first step.
Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1. Feeling overwhelmed? Before we can start managing these feelings, we've got to know exactly what we're up against. So let's define our terms.
You know that feeling, right? When it just seems like everything is piling up and you can't catch a break. If you've been there, trust me, you are so not alone. Feeling overwhelmed is a totally normal human thing that connects a lot of us.
So let's get clear on the difference, because it's a big one. Stress is your body's reaction to something happening right now, like, say, a huge test that's just hours away. Anxiety, though, that's usually about the future. It's that worry about all the what ifs, even when nothing bad is actually happening yet. But get this, not all stress is the enemy. There's a thing called eustress, which is actually positive stress. It's that buzz of excitement you feel before a big game or right before you give a presentation. It's that sweet spot where a little bit of pressure actually helps you focus and perform at your best.
Okay, so we know what stress and anxiety are, but how do they actually show up? In this next part, we're going to cover all the signs and symptoms so you can get better at spotting the signals your own body and mind are sending you. A lot of times, your body is the first to sound the alarm. You might notice you're getting more headaches, or your heart feels like it's racing. Maybe you're just tired all the time, or you find it impossible to fall asleep at night. These are all physical clues that you're feeling the pressure.
And then there's the emotional side. It can look like being super irritable or snapping at people for no reason. It can also be that constant feeling of being totally buried under everything you have to do, or just a general sense of nervousness that you can't seem to shake.
And of course, it changes what we do. Maybe you find yourself putting things off more and more, or you just can't seem to focus on anything. You might even notice your eating or sleeping patterns are all over the place. These are huge behavioral red flags.
So where does all this come from? Well, it's not coming from nowhere. These are totally valid responses to real-life stuff. Things like academic pressure, expectations from family, tricky social situations, and honestly, just the plain uncertainty of the future. Those can all be huge triggers.
All right, section 3, the impact on your life. Why is getting a handle on all this so important? Because it's not just about feeling a little better today. It's about protecting your health and your happiness for the long haul.
Look, if you let it go unchecked, long-term stress can really do a number on you. It can completely tank your concentration, weaken your immune systems, you're getting sick all the time, and it can even create drama with your friends, making you feel more alone.
Okay, let's get to the good stuff. The really practical part, healthy ways to cope. We've talked about the what and the why, so now let's hit the how. Consider this section your personal toolkit for feeling more in control of your life.
One of the simplest, most powerful tools is literally right under your nose. It's your breath. This is called box breathing, and it's so easy. You just inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4, and exhale for 4. It's like an instant reset button for your entire nervous system. You know, our thoughts have an incredible amount of power. There's this technique called reframing, and it can be a game changer. It's all about catching that negative thought, like, I'm gonna fail, and consciously flipping the script to something more realistic and empowering, like, I can prepare and I will do my best. And there are so many other great strategies. That huge project that feels impossible, break it down into tiny, manageable steps. Feeling antsy? Just moving your body, even going for a short walk, can make a world of difference. And never, ever underestimate the power of just talking to someone you trust. Now, it's just as important to know what not to do. There are some traps we can fall into. Things like just trying to ignore the problem, or pulling away from your friends, or working yourself into the ground without any rest. They might feel like a fix in the moment, but trust me, they only make things worse down the line.
So we've got the tools, but what does it actually look like to use them? In our final section, we're going to see what it means to take that all-important first step by looking at a real-life example.
So let's meet Amina. She's deep in exam prep, and she feels completely overwhelmed and just can't focus. I have a feeling her situation might sound pretty familiar to a lot of you. So what did she do?
Well, instead of letting that overwhelmed feeling just take over, she took small, concrete steps. She made a schedule. She broke her study time into short, focused chunks. She reached out and talked to a friend about how stressed she was. And yeah, she used those breathing exercises to stay calm.
And what happened? By using these simple strategies, Amina was able to turn down the volume on that feeling of overwhelm. She felt more in control, and ultimately, she actually performed better. It really works.
Okay, so let's wrap this up with the most important things to take away. First, stress and anxiety are natural. The trick is managing them. Second, recognizing the signs early is everything. Third, using healthy coping strategies is good for your mind and your body. And finally, please remember, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
I want to leave you with a final thought, maybe even a little challenge. Knowing this stuff is great, but doing something is what really makes a difference. So, looking at all the tools we talked about today, what is just one coping strategy you'll try this week?